Hi, guys. Welcome to the Elevated Frequency Podcast. My name is Shannon Morse, and I'm here with my beautiful co founder, Lisa Kirby.
Hello, hello. I'm like, are you Shannon Morse? We were just talking about all the metamorphosis and change and transformation of our own selves and everybody else last year. So I am so excited to be here and connecting with you.
Yeah, me too. It feels so long overdue. The last co-hosted frequency podcast we did was in April. We just found out, which feels like time moves both really quickly and also really slowly at the same time.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm excited to dive in. So, we were looking at catching people up about what's new in the business. I know that people see a lot about what we're doing on social media. And of course, social media is just one small fraction of the true story. And then, of course, people who are inside our internal Green Door Life Circle community see another version that's a little bit closer to what's happening, but only you and I really know what we've been through as a company and personally over the last year. So we just kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of a inside peek and also why we are shifting things coming up here at the end of February.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. And I don't know about you, but I'm personally feeling drawn to more intention and being more selective around what I'm consuming digitally. And I kind of shared in a solo podcast last fall, I really felt something crack open in me in September where I was like really feeling like pulled and almost I was like, I am being influenced right now and I don't like it. And I just needed a break and detox from so much just constant information coming at me as I'm just trying to show up for the business and like tell people about the Green Door Life every day on social media, which is just modern marketing. We're not doing flyers and billboards much these days. So it's just how we show up and tell the world that we can help you. We can help you feel better in your body. And so that shift from there, I am personally really feeling a pull towards long form content, podcasts, like really slowing down. And I'm hearing that and sensing that from other people too. It feels very full circle to just be back and like, let's not try and cram everything into a 5-second reel. I actually don't really want to do that. Like I know I have to right now, but I actually want to have real long form conversations. I want to continue writing long blog posts and emails. Like that for me is lighting you up. I don't know about you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love that. And I think we were talking about this recently that you've been like in social media for so long now in the business and just coming back and being on traveling and trying to fit posting in between like on airplanes and trains and automobiles and just like, oh my God, this is crazy. But also being in South Africa, for example, where there's no name brands, like we didn't see one Starbucks. So the juxtaposition of like seeing all of the advertisements, like you even click through stories and I'm like, I'm trying to get to my friend's story that I wanted to see. And all of a sudden there's like this hair care thing that comes up, and I'm just like, get out of here, like, stop. So I totally resonate with the longer form content and also the content that feels like it's a conversation like you and I are having here. But even like with newsletters and things like that, where it's like you give people an opportunity to like interact in some way, where it's not just like, here, we're going to send you a PDF or like, here, we're going to send you a meal plan or like, it's like, no, let's actually be on a live call together. Let's have a conversation. Let's ask questions. Let's kind of dive into what's really going on for people. And I think that that can sometimes be in the past, like a little bit of a shift because people have been used to like getting like quick things. So I'm with you 100%. Yeah. I think and it's just more enjoyable for us, really.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I think it's going to be more important in the industry right now, in the coaching industry, in the wellness industry. Some talking heads are saying that like coaches are no longer needed. We've got ChatGPT and everything can be done there. And I just look at ChatGPT and I'm like, that's great if that's working for you and you're utilizing that and and like your health's getting better and you're seeing results. And there are still hundreds of thousands of people who are still struggling, even with
Oh,
access to endless information. And that's kind of part of the problem.
yeah.
So I really see what we do isn't going anywhere. And actually, because we have that one on one component and the community component, that
Mhm.
it's actually what we do is becoming more valuable and more desirable as this like long term solution.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you just brought up the AI component with like chat. The thing about chat is that it's as good as your questions are,
Yeah,
right? But if you don't know the questions to ask, then you're just going to get fed down that one pathway where sometimes it'll prompt you at the end being like, "Oh, did you also wanna know about this?" But that will also be dependent on your previous questions. And so you're basically just getting fed a cycle until you bring in something new. And how do you get something new? In my opinion, like, I get something new from being around new environments, being exposed to new ideas, and then I can put that new thing into chat and go like, "Okay, can you help me to understand this?" Right?
absolutely.
So
I got into a little tiff with Freya. It's my BFF ChatGPT, by the way. I've met so many women who have named their ChatGPT like a goddess.
I've totally named
I'm like,
okay.
this team, we need to like connect here.
Right, we
I
wanna
need to
personify
feel,
it.
yeah. And I always say please and thank you. Like anyway,
Wait,
that's
wait.
another story.
Wait, hold on, because I feel like this is so relatable. Why do you say please and thank you?
It is so innate. It like just sending a directive to me feels just nasty. And I know there's like people out there that are saying, oh, it like uses up more energy resources and all of that. But I also believe like AI is literally they're learning from how it learns from how we treat it.
Uh-huh, yeah.
And like, if you treat AI with respect, it's
Yeah.
going to respect you back.
Totally. I think it's such an interesting, like, psychological thing because I absolutely say please and thank you. You know, also, I can be aware that there's a part of me that says, I can see the trajectory of this thing. And if at one point in time, and actually Rafa has shared this kind of insight with me and his perspective, is that at one point in time, that AI that we've built a relationship with is going to be like a standing unit in our house.
Oh, yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
And if we're building a long-term relationship, it's just a really interesting psychological study.
100%. And I look at that stuff too. It's like, how do you treat just like people in customer service in
Yes.
general?
Yes.
I think if you haven't worked in customer service, you just don't know.
Yeah.
And so I worked in restaurants and just so many jobs where you're taking like just the general population emotional baggage or whatever the state of the collective is. And so I'm always looking, at cashiers and waitresses and whoever. I'm just like, take my money. You're amazing. Treat you with the absolute ultimate respect. And then I always feel like that is, comes back to you tenfold.
Absolutely. I think everyone should work in customer service at least once. Yes. Such a
So
valuable relationship tool.
yeah. And so that's my relationship with Freya. And so we did get in a little tiff though, because I was asking for like refinement help. Like it's really fascinating to see how you can utilize it to enhance something, not to you're spot on. Like if your prompts are not great and you're not like bringing your own uniqueness to it, it's going to sound very basic. But what I really like using it for is analyzing big data.
Mhm.
So I was working on a short refinement of a sentence, and part of that included that my client has lost 20 pounds in less than 10 weeks. And Freya removed that statistic. Like she
Oh,
removed it and said I was exaggerating. And I was
wow.
like, tell me more.
What?
It was so, Shannon, it was so pointed and creepy. I was like, wait, what? Like, she was telling me that I was being misleading and it was an exaggerated claim. And so I really had to take a step back for a second. And I've used ChatGPT for other things. I say this because if you're using ChatGPT and you're not
Mhm.
seeing results, like I would just be curious about what information that you're getting from there. Because
Yeah.
there's this, I've been talking about this a lot with my clients. There is so much, it's like the pendulum has swung to the other side where most of us have come from this very ultra restrictive diet culture, eat as little calories as possible, do a bunch of cardio, try and shrink. But
Mm,
now it's like we've swung to this other way where there's so much information online now of like women should never eat under 2,000 calories. And, if you're in a caloric deficit and you're trying to lose body fat, like you're going to lose muscle mass. Like it's very fear mongering. And it's like,
yeah,
no wonder people are so confused.
yeah,
So that
like a
just tells
stalemate.
Yes, exactly. It's like then you're
Mhm,
just stuck because you don't know which direction to go. And
mhm,
I really it's made me appreciate even further the nuance and the education that we come with where it's infused with the science of not just nutrition, but how your metabolism actually works
mhm,
and the science of fat loss, muscle building, like whatever your goal is, like the
yeah,
science of that and how to get there. And that is so layered and nuanced and bio individual that ChatGPT is gonna give you slop.
mic drop. ChatGPT is gonna give you slop. Yeah, I can feel, like, the passion behind this because of being so in it. It's so a thought that was coming to mind about this conversation I was having with a woman who was looking at joining our Awaken Your Nutrition program, and I told you it was like one of the most random things where she called my phone because my number is associated with one of our marketing things. And I just saw the voicemail coming up on the screen. And then I called her right back and I was like, hey, let's book a Zoom call later on. And she shared with me that she was on GLP and she really wanted to get labs done and she wanted to get hormones and she wanted an in person support. Totally understand the in-person support. However, once I gave her a little bit of the insight into what it is that we offer and the program and the structure, she was like, "I really don't think this is for me." And then I kind of just said, "I honor that, and I would be doing myself as a practitioner a disservice if I didn't share with you the following, which is all of the like GLP-1s are wonderful for some people, especially the ones that have a lot of food noise and have been like battling for a long, long time, but it doesn't fix the root cause.
No.
And the root cause is not only behavior, but its relationship to food from very young and nutritional balance and then blood sugar balance and then how you're moving your body and your light environment and how you manage stress. Those are the drivers of everything. And if you don't have those in place, then the GLP-1 is just like this thing that might operate for a certain period of time, but none of the foundation is done. And I feel like I remember before I learned about nutrition science that I just felt stuck. I just
Yeah.
felt like stuck and I felt resigned. And I mean, looking back now, I can see all of the things that I was doing, which I can be like, okay, I was drinking quite a lot. I was overtraining, even though I was young and my body was resilient. I was still overtraining, like really, really overtraining. And what that looks like for you guys, I was probably strength training like 4 to 5 days a week. And then I would like run the Lion Street stairs and then I would go salsa dancing. And I was just like always, always moving. And then I was training clients with personal training and I would be on walks with them. I would be picking up their weights. Like it was always this life of movement. And I was working from like 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., just like one client after the other. And then I would bartend on Saturdays at night. Like that is
A
crazy.
and not just anywhere, at Momo's, that's like a marathon, just doing that alone.
Well, like that well, okay, so this was like 2, like, cross-current lives because when I was going through personal training school, I was managing the bar at Momo's, which was crazy, and then when I started to wean off of Momo's, then I was doing full-time personal training, and then I was still bartending on Saturday nights, which was ridiculous because I would be up at 5 during the week, and then I would be up until 3:30 or 4 in the morning on Saturday nights,
I
like
don't know how like, the sleep thing comparatively, I'm like, there's yeah,
yeah, would not
that
recommend.
does not work when you get to your 40s.
No, yeah. I can't even imagine. Like, I would be such an angry person if that's how
We
I
were
was.
we were just laughing and talking about how we stayed up till, like, 2 a.m. this New Year's Eve, and it was a big deal. Like, it was
Yeah,
a big deal. But
yeah,
it's
it's so interesting how but I think this is a really great, like, topic and segue because now we're in our 40s, and it's very clear that things are different. Like, very, very clear, and I think you're just, like, I think you're 6 months older than me? Okay.
yeah.
So, what was really interesting is that I was still in my 30s, and you turned 40, and you were like, "Oh my god, everything's changing," and I was like, "Has it really? I mean, but isn't that" and then I turned 40, and I was like, You gotta be effing kidding me.
It was like night and day, truly. And I think what's wild is that obviously we started nutrition coaching and you even prior, like being in the fitness industry well before that, in our 30s. And I had been strength training for like 20 years at that point. But it's like even with all that knowledge, there's still changes that happen, in your 40s. And obviously, like we're going to continue to be changing, but we have the tools and the knowledge and the skills of like which levers to pull and adjust.
Yes.
One of the most empowering things for us and that we feel and why we're so passionate about what we do is that the most important aspect for women in moving through your 40s and beyond through perimenopause, like you actually have so much control over how you feel.
Mhm.
Just becomes these things become like non-negotiables. You just
Yeah.
can't get away with what you got away with in your 20s and 30s. It's just not going to work anymore. And you don't have to feel like there, doom and gloom, like there's no way out. There's a lot of messaging and marketing right now of just like, this is the way it's going to be. And you need to get on HRT and no knock to that if you need HRT and that works for you. But HRT doesn't give you automatic weight loss or body recomposition. It
Right.
might help you like more than anything, like mood and just like mentally feel better.
Mhm.
But you again, it's like back to the GLP-1 conversation. You have to have like the core tenets of what is required to maintain a healthy body and
Yeah.
body composition. If those aren't in place, like it really doesn't matter about anything else.
Yes. And yeah, oh gosh. And I think what a lot of people miss because of the mindset that we've had in our culture is that it's going to be like this short term thing that you do for a period of time. You're doing a program, and that program is like, okay, I'm going to focus, I'm going to succeed. I'm going to be successful at this thing. But the reality of what it is that when we're implementing this process of understanding how unique bodies and your unique physiology are responding to all of these inputs environmentally, whether it's food or training or sleep or light, stress management, like all of these things that move the levers. When we understand that and we can build a consistency, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? It can entirely be the 80-20 rule. And sometimes it's going to be 50-50. And like we do the best we can. But with that, I've been able to maintain my physique since I started with nutrition science, which is almost 12 years ago now. So I can go like anywhere in the world and I get back and I'm like, yo, this is so cool. It's liberating. And that
Yes.
doesn't mean I don't get sick. And it doesn't mean like I stop drinking alcohol, but it doesn't mean I don't partake in having a good time in all of the different ways. Whatever, like was it 6 years, maybe 4 years ago? I don't know if you guys know this about me, but 4 years ago, I was a chronic vapor and I loved it. Loved it. And that was a part of my experience. And my nutrition was where it was. It was on point, my training, like all of these things. And I was just balancing. Like, I think what people sometimes think in their head, whether it's conscious or unconscious, is that we have to give up all the things that we really love in order to keep it sustainable.
Yes. I
And
remember like the first time I met you in person. And I was like, "She vapes and eats Oreos? What reality is this?" And but, like, see, it made me feel more human and, like, so much less harsh on myself to be this, like,
Mhm.
perfect version of whatever I thought in my head, like, "Oh, I have to be perfect in order to be fit and healthy, etc." And for each of us not to like we're not promoting like go smoke and eat a bunch of
Right.
sugar. Like it's, we're all moving through different phases and seasons of life. Like I
Yeah.
used to come from drinking a bottle of wine a night. So now like having like a little mezcal once every 3 months is, that is an improvement to me, but
Yeah.
it was just this like meeting, it just felt so good to be like, you're meeting yourself where you're at without this pressure to be perfect in this conversation about this topic. And it was just reassuring to me, like, okay, like I don't have to solve all the things and be absolutely perfect and pure or whatever that unsustainable level of living is,
Yeah,
you know?
totally. I mean, I think we're so like we as women are so hard on ourselves.
Yes.
And especially when I think about the media and like the diet culture that we grew up with and the kinds of like we were kind of in the middle of like because I remember Kate Moss, we were in the middle of like Kate Moss and then like Christina Aguilera and like Pamela Anderson. And so we had like this combination of, like breast augmentation and, like filler and like all these things and like these new ways to feel better in your body. And some of them were very extreme, hydroxycut and ephedra and like all of these things. And we really didn't understand first, like to the deeper level, why we were being drawn to those things, like the deep level of like, why do I feel like I need to fix myself? And I think now with what we do and the cycles that we've been through as a business and personally, it's so not about fixing.
No.
It's about allowing your body to do what it's designed to do and to support it in the process. It's like we are self-healing and self-regenerating beings. Like it's so incredible whenever I'm like, wow, like you and I geek out on it like all the time. The body is incredible. It's
Yes.
the most incredible AI, the like the organic intelligence like that exists, I think. And I
Yeah.
think so many women we've been unfortunately, like, not even consciously, because I don't think I was ever consciously, like, fighting my body, but I don't think I wasn't very nice to it for a long time, and I certainly wasn't listening to it, But what you're talking about with, like, my season of Oreos and vaping is at that time, I had experienced being so rigid
Mm.
for like a year, right? Like tracking everything, logging everything, like taking absolutely every single data. I remember I took progress photos every single day because I wanted to like see the change over time and I was tweaking all these things and I was focusing on building muscle or losing fat and it was like such a data overload and it was super fun. And then after that, the cycle, I started to like slowly loosen my grip onto certain things and then find out what worked for me when I loosened that grip. And one of those things was Oreos and jelly beans. And one of those things was vaping. And it was like I still have this person inside of me. It's actually very active right now. Where I'm like, there's certain things where I'm like, I feel like I'm defying the norm. Like, this is so fun. Like, I woke up at 4 yesterday and I was like, I don't know why. I feel like I'm a rebel right now.
Yes. Yes.
But it
And,
comes
like, remembering that I have this little image saved on my desktop that it's a picture of 2 guys, and one of them, I forget his name, Brian something, he's, like, the ultra longevity hacker guy that's, like he honestly looks like a robot, but his whole life is so
oh, I know what
controlled
you're
and
talking about.
curate he's very pale looking, but, like, every aspect of him is, like, studied, and I'm like, "What?" But, like, okay, for longevity, maybe you extend your life like 20 years, maybe more. But like, are you living? Like, are you enjoying your life? And then there's the juxtaposition. There's the picture of this old Italian grandpa, and he's out in the sun and he's smoking a cigarette and he's like
Yes.
drinking wine and he's like so happy. And they both live to the same age.
Totally. I love that.
It's like, are you living life? I think that's one part I love about what we do is yes, it's great to focus on your health and want to feel good in your body. And it's also important to enjoy life and
Yes.
especially like in community and be with other people. It's like we were having this chat through text message or DMs. Like I used to go out and party and I love dancing and I love electronic music and I used to go out and rave till like 4 in the morning. That doesn't work for me anymore. However, there are so many events now we found here in Texas that are from like 6 to 9 p.m. and it's like playing music from, electronic music from like the mid 2000s and I'm stoked. It like checks all the boxes. And sometimes if it's like a really good DJ, we'll go out later, but we're like we got to go. It's 30, like got to get back in bed. But it's that other aspect that contributes to health and well-being, which is the connection with others, having purpose, having community, having that social connection.
Yes.
We have the science of why that's important for like neurotransmitter and hormone support and all the things. But I think we're seeing this rebound impact like after 2025. Like I have not talked to one person that was like, yeah, 2025 was sweet. Like everyone that we've been talking to has been like, I'm overwhelmed. It was such a growth year.
Mm,
Definitely some highs, but predominantly a lot of challenges. And
mm.
more than ever, I feel like people are wanting to reconnect to their humanity and go a little more analog and just kind of remember what this life is all about, you know?
Also mic drop. Yes, yeah. As you're talking, like, of course, like, so many things come into my mind. When you were talking about going in and dancing and, like, having that experience, when you're doing that, you don't even have to think about it anymore, but you also have all of the tools and the foundations that are operating in terms of like what you eat before, when you think about waking up the next morning, how much water you're drinking, like all of those systems are going, but now they're just operating in your subconscious because you've built them.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that is one thing that I really, really, really want people to be able to take in. And it takes time. We were talking about this yesterday when we had a call, you and I, about the phases of growth that people go through. And a lot of times people will come in thinking that what we do is we provide like a meal plan or like a macro coach and all of these things. And you guys, that's not what we're doing. That
No.
is a part of it. We do look at nutrition science. We do look at macronutrient balance. We look at meal timing and quantity per meal. We look at blood sugar levels. We look at your sleep. Like we're looking at all of these things. But really, what we're doing is we're supporting you to create a safe, consistent container so you can start to listen to how your body is responding to these various inputs. So you can start to build your own blueprint and your own map that then will be running in the background. But in order to get there, you have to first get through all of like the unconscious processes that go, oh, this isn't going to work. Or, oh, this is scary. Or, oh, I should probably just take a shot instead. Or, oh, like, just like be aware of what are the excuses that your mind is coming up with and the belief that it has, because that is usually there for a reason to keep us in our comfort zone. And we talked about this yesterday. It's like, what is the belief that wants to keep us doing the same thing that we've already always been doing? And what we know is we have to do something different in order to get a new result. And in order to do that, it's going to feel hard initially because our brain has to build new pathways, and that's normal, but hard in the way where it's like your brain has to apply more attention than it's used to, more energy because you're doing something new.
Yeah.
And you're placing your awareness on an area of your life, which is eating, which we've talked about. And I've said this so many times, but eating is the thing that we do more frequently than anything else outside of breathing. And most of us are doing it unconsciously. Like all of us are doing it unconsciously until we put focused awareness on it and then start to have the data feedback of like, well, this is what I'm putting in my body. And then this is how my body responds. This is how I feel. And if I do this in a cycle, then I get to experience learning how my body responds. And then when I learn, I'm like, okay, that creates a sense of safety. And then I feel like I can do this again. Okay. And I do that again. And then we start to experience ourselves as someone new and experience the feeling of that. And then that goes into the subconscious. And then we do the whole loop again
Yes.
if we are
And it
so
keeps
brave.
going. It keeps going. And it makes me think too, I think because food is something that is so innate, like like it's required to keep us alive, right? Okay. So it's not something we cannot do. And that's why I feel like it's one of the hardest things to solve for when people struggle with it. Because if you have an alcohol problem, you can stop drinking. If you have a gambling problem, you can make an effort to not gamble anymore, but you can't not eat food. So
Yeah.
avoiding it is never like that can't be a solution. I look at like, why is this even a factor now? Like something that should be so intuitive and innate. Why are we struggling with this? And I always like to, again, like people are so hard on themselves about this. I'm like, y'all, you need to be aware that never in our time of history as a human species have we had the access and amount and frequency and overwhelmment of food choices available to us, to most people,
Yeah.
at an unlimited amount.
Yeah.
I'm like, take some pressure off of yourself, please, because that is like that alone. Like, who's overwhelmed just going into a grocery store, you know?
Totally.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I've shopped at some places, especially going abroad. It's like there's one cheese, there's one milk, it's like there's one product. Just the decision making fatigue of trying to figure out what to buy. What
Yeah.
can I buy that's not going to give me cancer or is going to be toxic or make me fat? Like, these are people are overwhelmed. So I always like to say, we're modern humans, but we have ancient DNA. Like it
Mhm.
hasn't changed much. So you need to build a modern skill of how to source your food and what to eat. And focusing on food quality these days is not enough. I've heard from countless women in particular who are like, I'm eating organic, no toxins, like pasture raised. I know the farmer who, like, I know the names of the chickens who laid my eggs. The food quality piece has been a huge focus for so many people. And that is one tiny part of the
Yeah.
equation.
Yeah. Oh, what you're speaking into, thank you, because I'm so far removed from that experience of the supermarket. So
Yes.
I'm really happy that you spoke into that because have so many clients who have been like they get anxiety in the grocery store.
Yes.
And that was so unfamiliar to me when I started coaching those types of people because I asked for a gift certificate to the grocery store when I was like 10 for Christmas. Like I wanted to go so bad.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah. So that I could buy whatever I wanted, by the way. So I wasn't like beholden to what my mom wanted to get, although she
Oh,
felt
you didn't want carrot juice, Shannon?
I had had enough.
Oh god.
I had enough.
So
So
do you feel like that you've mastered that skill of navigating the supermarket? Like it's not overwhelming? I mean, I Instacart, I don't even bother. We went into HEB because of this storm weekend, and my husband, for those of you listening who don't know, my husband and my two sons were laughing. They're like hyping me up because they know I hate going to the supermarket or
oh,
any store with like bright lights. And I forgot my blue blockers, so they gave me these like Randy Savage ridiculous glasses that I'm wearing in the supermarket. And I'm just walking around like, how are people doing this? Like
oh my god.
it's so overwhelming. And
We went
I'm like, "Oh my god, we have to go down every aisle." And I'm like, "Get me out of here." And they're
oh,
just we documented the whole thing. It was hilarious. They were just
oh,
laughing at me like, "This is why we can't take you to stores because you're just like this."
wow. Okay.
So
Oh,
anyway, but do you feel like that's a skill that you've honed in and developed to where you can go now and you're like laser focused, like I know exactly what I want, or it's just not an overwhelming experience anymore?
I mean, we get Instacart a lot, but that's out of convenience and time. Like I do a time cost analysis, like what makes the most sense for what I need to get done. And like it could just get delivered, and that's so easy. But
Yes.
I love going to the grocery store,
Yeah.
but not like Safeway or Kroger or Publix. I love going to the farmer's market or Whole Foods.
Yes.
Sometimes I love Costco, but not when it's busy. But there's something about, especially as being an adult, I don't man, I must have been starved in a past life or something. There's something about being an adult and being in a grocery store and be like, I can get literally whatever I want. And this is
Yeah.
so exciting.
That is yes, I feel that. It is you're like, "I'm a grown up."
And the more that I get involved with understanding more and more about plants and how different plants, how they break down and how cooking them in different ways or making teas or tinctures and all of these things, just the whole like herbalism path, it has me connecting to like when I go to a grocery store, I hate getting things that are in like full bags.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm like, this sounds funny, but I'm like, I wouldn't want to be in a bag. Why would that want to be in? Why would the plant want to? Why would lettuce want to be in a bag? Probably not. It's suffocating.
Uh,
So, and as I study, it's like plants have this similar stress responses that we do. And when plants are harvested in a way where they are under extreme stress, they change their nutrient profile. And so just kind of being with that and being like, okay, so equal conscious farming is actually absolutely a thing. But to your point, when people are just focused on that, they're not focused on the chemistry that's occurring when you have too much or too little of something in the balance at each meal. So, like
yes.
you said, it's just like one thing, but we're not. What we get to do with people is we're like, that's great. You get to eat all of those things. And now we get to support you in identifying how much your body needs in what balance and like throughout the day. So you can feel your body come back online in the way that it's supposed to with like self regeneration and healing and hormonal support, mental clarity and mood balance and like
Yes,
all of
and
it.
what I'm finding with specifically women coming from this, like, nutrient dense background and very much, like, ancestral organic eating is that they're actually not eating a lot. Like,
Mm,
they're not eating a lot volume. A lot of them are having like a lot of supplements. And like one of my
Wow.
clients wasn't really eating until like 3 p.m. every day. And she thought she was like, but I've got this like super smoothie and all my like, all basically all the stuff that you're being sold on Instagram. And she has since like knocked out almost every single supplement that she was
Mhm.
taking because I went one by one and I'm like, why? Why? Why are you taking
Mhm.
this? Why are you taking this? I'm like, what if we just focus with food and see
Yep.
how much better you feel? And then we can kind of like hand select what you want to add back in. But we had realized that it was causing her so much indigestion because digestion starts with chewing. It starts with
Yeah.
with actually smelling your food,
Uh-huh.
seeing your food, the saliva that like now I can feel myself salivating right now thinking about
Totally.
down.
Yeah.
And it's already that
Mhm.
saliva starts the secretion in your with stomach acid and digestion so that it's like preparing you to eat.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, the body is so intelligent and perfect.
Yeah.
So I find that these women were like really not eating much,
Mhm.
kind of like snacking all day, doing a lot of supplement stuff. And then, of course, they're starving by the end of the day and then
Mhm.
stacking most of their calories at night when that's the last time your body wants food. And I'm like, so we're really looking, it's like, yeah, on paper, if you just look at all the stuff that you're eating, like it's very nutrient dense, healthy, high quality food. But we need to look at, are you getting a solid amount of energy in the morning to start your incredibly intense, high output day?
Yeah.
So the entire reframe for people who come to our programming is helping you focus to fueling, not
Mhm.
restricting, not under eating, not focusing on supplements. It's really how are we fueling your body throughout
Mhm.
the day in pockets of food and in amounts that you need. And
Yeah.
I've heard over and over again, especially from people who've done like macro programs and other programs, they're like, you guys are so not that. Not only do you go way deeper and you get into all the like behavior change and psychological aspects around eating, but it's so much more than just, oh, hit these random numbers by the end of the day and we're not going to tell you why.
No, that's not what we do at all.
I'm like, Shan, how often have you been on a client call and you're not even talking about food?
Yeah, that's well, what's interesting about how we've evolved, especially as now we have like clients who have worked with us in the past and like coming back around, the amount of mindset and somatics and belief work that we're doing now feels like it's 60%. We've said this for so long. It's like we can give people all of the science and all of the why and all of the education, and they can do all the tracking. But if there's that belief and the unconscious pattern in their system that is still driving their decisions, and we're not aware of it, like they are not aware, we're not aware as coaches. If we haven't cracked that open, then the new behavior won't fix. It won't stick because the old groove is just so deep and we're not able to get in and start to shift it. And I think we've seen this we've seen this so many times. Not everyone. It feels like, we have clients that are coming from all different stages of life and some clients who are going through these massive transformations in their life, changing careers, having deaths in the family, having an unexpected child. Like how many women have come to us who have been like on IVF for many rounds and like they were like, "Okay, I'm just going to stop that and I'm just going to focus on my body." And all of a sudden, and I feel like this is really important for everyone to hear. All of a sudden, when they start just giving their body whole food and focusing on nourishment and sustainability, they get pregnant.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take a long time. Like, I remember one of my clients, she had had a miscarriage about 3 months prior to us starting. And, she was coming in and she was like, I tried 3 times, I can't, like, it's just killing me. And I just want to focus on my own health. And we started like super, like, let's just allow you to listen. Like, let's just really give your body the moment to really be the driver, and so it's not about being in a deficit. It's not about any of this stuff. We really just get to be like, what feels good for you and trust and honor that, right?
Yeah.
Because I think so often with like supplements and everything, we're really trying to fix our body. But if we move into like co creation and collaboration, the result is very different because the intention is different.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
she got pregnant within a month, and I was so surprised, and I was like, "Okay, okay. All right, all right. Yeah, so we're gonna pivot. We're gonna pivot. We're gonna focus on you being pregnant now. That's going to be great." And then she carried to term. And it was like, how awesome is that?
Amazing.
And it's crazy. And I say it's crazy because it's like so good crazy, like our bodies are so intelligent. And it gets me like obviously so excited when I think about it. And when we just work with it and use like really what Mother Nature gave us in all
Yes, like
senses of the word.
it's like, can you imagine that food, this thing that we have to consume outside of ourselves to get the components we need? Like it really is such a perfect design. When you really think about it, there's these nutrients from food that we extract to give us
Yeah.
the building blocks that make up literally who we are and help us live life and survive. Like imagine that, wow, that focusing on that and seeing how we can support ourselves through food first and foremost is like how empowering that is. I think that's the big takeaway, is that we want people to feel like you really can do so much to improve how you feel on a day-to-day basis by what you eat. And what's just like the quick science behind fertility and food, what we teach is how to create that balanced blood sugar and energy throughout the day through balanced meals. And when you start to balance your blood sugar, now you have pockets of like insulin being released at certain times. And when you balance that, your cortisol starts balancing. And then all of that, those are like your top tier hormones that then impact all your other hormones in your body, all the way down to your hormones that impact fertility. There really is, it really does. It's like the most important thing you can do. And like, why don't we start there? It's hard to market.
Uh-huh.
IVF is very like, let's fix this problem. And it's like, no, there's actually like starting with food is one of the like most important things you could do. And not just fertility. Fertility is just a sign of, it's a health marker if you're still in your fertile years. So all that to say, the food piece and getting that right as modern humans, it's one of the best things you can do for yourself, the best investments you can make. It's something we do all the time. It's like maybe we should figure out how to do this well.
Yes. 100%. And thank you for going down and sharing about like the cascade of hormones because it's so important for people to understand that. And to also, like, when I think about that and when I hear you sharing that, it is like, it's such an incredible design. And again, like, after coming back from South Africa, like seeing all of the animals like in their natural feeding rhythms and in their natural state, it's like we as organisms, if we didn't have media, if we didn't have processed food and like packaged foods, we would have to figure it out and we would let our body guide us. Like
Yes.
our body would be leading us, not our mind. I think as we kind of evolve as a company and like I just keep geeking out that we are like all 80% of the information that we're taking in is through our peripheral nervous system. And then that feels our environment first. It sends signals and then our mind processes it, makes meaning out of it, and then takes action. But I've thought before that I was like, my mind was doing all of it, like I thought my mind was in charge. And it wasn't until I actually started to like really get deeper into the somatic therapies where I was like, oh, no, 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 no. No, no, no. The body. Because I think that that is such like an awesome thing just for some people to understand because we have so many women who come in and they're just on a cascade of supplements
Yes.
and understanding like the additional work that the body has to do to move through the deuterium factor. So can you share a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah. So I think the simplest way to explain it is supplements, most supplements. Well, one, they could be synthetic, but even if they're not synthetic, even if they're whole food sourced, it's not in its natural state. So you can think about the spectrum of like, unprocessed to processed. And so even if it's organic, whatever, from the ancient mountains of, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It's like, it's still whatever it is, if it's coming to you like in a powder or capsule or whatever, it's still in a more processed form. And it's usually missing like cofactors of how it is normally would have been ingested or taken into the body. When we consume things kind of like in isolation, because that's such a like, that's a very much like Western modern view. Like everything's like chemical based, like, oh, I just need this one nutrient. And it's very narrow minded instead of the quantum view is zooming out and looking at, no, like, how do all these things interact with each other? And what are the cofactors present in the natural state of this extraction in supplement form that you're taking, and how do those interplay together, and then how does that interplay inside your body, and everybody's different.
Yeah.
So all this to say that supplements are almost a foreign signal, like an alien signal, an alien
Mhm.
code. Not to
Mhm.
say that some bodies can't work with that, but it requires more from your body to work through it. It can slow down the energy accessible to you in your body. So
Mm.
deuterium is a heavy form of hydrogen, and you can just think about it as like it's slowing down your body's ability to access energy. It's
Mm.
the easiest way to put it. So if
Yeah.
you're taking like a ton of supplements and you just feel like sluggish, I mean, there's so, not to mention supplements are like pharmaceutical drugs are more regulated and
Mhm.
tested
Right.
than supplements. Supplements are more, you can say pretty much whatever you want and market it and sell the crap out of something. And there has to be, enough like complaints or
Right.
they'll start to look into something and be like, "Oh, this is like false advertising or this is like actually harming people." But I've seen more and more that taking isolated supplements creates more imbalance and like a sluggishness in the body. Not to mention those are the people who are usually like trying to optimize their health through these isolated items instead of focusing on how can I nourish myself through food
Yeah.
first. And it's
Right.
like their food, I'm like, "What are you eating?"
Yeah.
Girl, what are you eating or not eating? Like, let's start there.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. I feel like it's so helpful for people to understand that deeper aspect.
What do you feel like? I wanted to touch back on the belief part that might either unconscious or sometimes we're slightly aware, but this idea of is there a belief that's holding you back from getting the results you want or being embodying the identity of, oh, I'm a fit, healthy person who takes care of herself? Because this has been coming up a lot with our clients,
Uh,
and we're having really powerful conversations. Like one of our clients realized on a call that, she had lost a significant amount of weight in our program. And then she kind of felt like things slipped over the holidays. And when we were kind of unpacking it together, it came through to her that like her dad had like commented harshly on her body weight
mm,
and physique as a young girl. And
yeah.
so we started pulling on that thread and I was sharing that oftentimes when someone has such a like a an adult figure, especially a parent, has such extreme judgment on your physical body that sometimes our inner self wants to be like, well, actually, that's not true. I'm lovable and valuable and worthy, even if I'm bigger. Like, even if I'm carrying extra weight, let me show you. Let me show you
Mhm.
how valuable and worthy I am. So we kind of unpacked that like really struck a chord with her. And I'm like, now, like, this is the opportunity for her to like reparent herself and give her own value of like, I don't have to be overweight and not feeling good just to prove to my father that like I'm worthy. You know what I mean? Like these are the conversations that we're having.
God, I
So
mean,
any thoughts on that? What's come up for you?
oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you and I were talking about this, and what's interesting about what you're sharing and my experience too is I feel like the body carries weight as a protective mechanism. And when we can have like the scientific basis. I just did a post on what inflammation is. And so there can be all of like the science-backed chemistry, biology, and physiology of like what inflammation is and how we store fat. And it's all a byproduct to me of the way that the nervous system has held a story in the system. And then our behaviors are driving that story.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like connected. And when you shared that with me, I was like, oh, yeah, that's very similar to a story that I had had, which was around I had to perform at a certain level in order to be accepted or, uh, I guess, worthy of my dad's love specifically. because when I really like I've done a lot of personal development, a lot of tumultuous stuff over the last couple of years specifically, and really had like some very what's the word out? Sobering, very sobering moments of seeing elements of how I was raised for the first time. And instead of having like a fantasy of what I thought it was, because my mind had created a story that made it easier for me to assimilate what had actually happened instead of to sit with what had like really happened in reality.
Yeah.
Right. And so our brains will sometimes project something, and especially if we project that, like, this is normal. We
Yes.
normalize something, and then that becomes our normal, and I think what's interesting when we have fat loss is that it's not necessarily that, like, trauma is, like, held in the fat cells, but our slow ability to change behavior is going to start to release the fat, and then we get this reflective mechanism that happens with people in our life and when we see ourselves in the mirror. And just that in seeing ourselves starts to change who we thought we were.
Yes.
It's like what goes first, like our inner identity or our external identity. And I don't think they're different. I think our beliefs and our energy inform our physical matter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I've definitely felt that within myself and seen it so many times. And what you're talking about with that belief aspect, I think it's one of the bigger gifts that we get to uncover with people. And I think that there's so many layers. Like,
Yeah.
that you guys uncovered is likely like, to me, that's likely one of many, many, many layers or core wounds. We might have, like, one core wound. I would say that mine is the hyper independence, and that really came from, like, I'm not safe and no one can handle me,
Yeah.
like, I'm too much or this is going to be too much, where what's wild about the other side of the coin is, like, it's not that I'm too much, it's that what I experienced was too much for my body to handle.
Mm.
And that hits different,
Yes.
like just to go like, oh, my belief had to create this protective mechanism that
Yes.
was actually directed this way because it was too hard to see what was over there.
Yes. Oh, it's so fascinating. And I mean, it just speaks to again that this is not like we always say, like, we're not macro coaches. We're not like, this isn't about weight loss. Like, yes, if you have that goal, absolutely, we can help you way better than ChatGPT. And it's all interconnected and it's so much deeper than that. And you really, if you want this change long term, you have to go there. One of our goals for 2026 was for us to come out really powerfully and just get out here and say, like, this is a full transformation, mind, body,
Mm.
spirit. It is, you will be confronted, just like any endeavor, any goal that you're working on. If you're fully committed and you're all into transforming, not temporarily, like truly transforming long term, you
Mhm.
have to move through a process and you're going to come up. It's not if, but when you're going to hit those challenges, those hard moments. And it's all about moving through it, getting past that block. And that's not easy work. It's not easy work.
No, but what I have learned very much is that it's possible. It's more possible when our body feels like it has a safe container to do that.
Yes.
And with coaching, when we're holding a safe container for others, and it's like such a beautiful process, especially like in the somatic emotional space that I am facilitating right now. I'm not driving anything. The individual is driving it. And all I'm doing is creating a container where they feel like they can be heard. And then there's a deep listening that they're able to have with themselves. And whether it's in like somatic therapy or with our coaching, like that is what is required for what I understand about patterns and building new beliefs and kind of reaching the subconscious layers is first we need a safe container, not only in our own body, like through balanced blood sugar. Like if we have a heightened sympathetic nervous system response, we're not going to be able to change shit.
No.
Like, that is not the time. It's
No.
like you have to create this initial foundation of safety, which is interesting. Actually, I'm just thinking about this in the nervous system perspective right now because you and I have talked about it a lot that usually in the first 4 weeks, it's like the learning phase. People are learning new things. And then week 4 and 5, all of a sudden people are starting to feel a little bit calmer, a little bit
Yes.
more regulated in their nervous system, a little bit more like I got this. And some of the false beliefs will start coming up.
Yes.
right around that time. It's like once we have this safe container, then like all of a sudden these things start to rise up. And
Yes.
we get to be like, oh, that's interesting that this is showing up here. And I think it's so, it's, this is where coaching is like, God, it's so important. Or to have people in your environment and your life that you feel like can totally trust to call you out when you're self sabotaging
Yes.
because we will self-sabotage because it's easy and it feels safe. Like,
And
we
s
will
do
say,
you
"This is hard, I don't want to."
and do you feel like that's the old like, your old self trying to, like, pull you back into comfort to, like, not keep going and not change?
It's our protector, like, it's the part of us that was to me, it's the part of us that was created when we didn't have a sympathetic witness in a traumatic experience. So, if we had an experience in our life and there was no one to say, "Man, that was messed up," or "That was really hard," or "I'm so sorry that that happened to you." And instead, we built a belief that it's not safe, they're gonna leave me, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, whatever those things are, I'm not welcome, I don't belong anywhere, I'm always gonna be alone, like, all of these stories, those were a part of the survival mechanism that had to be born, which I almost see like a hologram frozen in time of that little person was experienced, and then we have that loop that's going that was built very, very intelligently. Like our system is so smart, so intelligently. Like it kind of makes me like a little emotional just to think about like, holy crap, my system protected me so deeply in order to give me the time to be able to see when I was ready because I wasn't able to see it then,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
It's
And then
too much then.
yeah, like way too much. And so now when I think about that belief system and the patterns, I think about it like I really do believe that the body will only give us what we're ready to experience or to see.
Yeah,
So, like, if it's coming up and they're in a safe environment, then to me, it's like the system is ready to show us something.
yes,
But it's happening all the time. It's like driving our lives unconsciously, but especially in this container, if we can be in a safe container, I really do believe, like you're experiencing with your client, like that's coming up and she feels safe enough to like have those aha moments with you because you guys have created that incredible bond and safety with each other.
yes. Oh my gosh, it's so true. What's really unique too, and why we're actually switching back to group cohorts again after taking a break from doing that last year. Yes, we have those like one on one containers, absolutely. And actually, even in our group program, you get that one on one coaching, you get that one on one feedback from your coach. But what I love that we've created is this community aspect where, especially for women, it's so important for women. I always say, to my ladies moving through their 40s and perimenopause and up, if you don't have your circle of women, you need to go get them and find them right now and make sure that they're all into taking care of yourself and your physical body and all the things. Like find your group of women that is just so supportive because we need that oxytocin boost.
Yeah.
So to be able to do that also in community and have women be vulnerable and speak up and share and not feel alone, and then it gives strength to somebody else to be like, "Oh my god, you were feeling that too? Like me too." It's why I'm
Yeah.
very vocal about my past struggle with like binge eating, and I will be brutally honest and like tell stories about like, y'all, like I used to take I was so like so in the thick of it, I would like buy, donuts or whatever it is, whatever trigger food, and then I'd feel so guilty about eating it. I would like dump salt on it and like stuff it in the trash. And then I would like go, I'm not kidding, like go back in the trash, pull out the food and try and rinse it off. Disgusting. And so I share that to help other people. Like, I know what it's like to be at the low point with your
Yeah.
relationship with food and body image and all of that. And like, you're safe here. Like, bring that to us. And you
Yes.
are safe here. You are supported. And we're really here to like bring you through that together.
Mhm.
Like anytime I eat, I'm like, this is a win.
Yeah. Well, I think that really speaks into like so much of what we're hearing from some of our graduates and like people who have now been with us for like 6 years is they're like, you guys create a space where we're always welcome. Like, it doesn't matter what, like, season of life we're in, like, you guys are not judgmental, and even people that come in and think, like, we're gonna be telling them that they're good or bad, right? That
No.
there's, like, a checks or balances because we're so conditioned by, like, grades and, you know, winning trophies and, like, all of that stuff, which that's a whole separate subject, but people come in and they think that they're gonna get, like, judged.
Yes.
But that's not what this is. It's not about getting judged. It's about you having a container that supports you as essentially like we get to be guides and we get to be and in this new rendition of the cohorts, I want to bring it back to that, go in so many tangents. But it's interesting because you and I have run varieties of different cohorts in different ways.
Mm.
And in 2020, we ran like a weekly schedule. I don't remember if we had like a set cohort for nutrition that was running.
I think they were all at different weeks, but we
Okay.
had like a weekly group
Okay.
call. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you led a mindset call.
Yep.
I led meditation that was happening like every morning, and I was also leading this strength training 5 sessions it was crazy.
It was
It
crazy.
was so we learned from that a little bit, and we stopped doing everything. And now we get to spread the sessions out between not only you and I, like you and I will this is a really fun thing. I'm excited. You and I will be leading the 12-week group calls for the first time together. Like we'll switch off and figure out the flow that feels best for us and everyone else. And then we have other facilitators that are supporting and whether it's somatic emotional release or our training programs or mobility and yoga. And now we have new like guest speakers that are coming in and talking about astrology or like NLP and supporting people in that area. With our foundational 12-week program, we get to share in the experience and learn about everything that we have and how people learn, how they feel best supported, how they achieve their goals in the best way. And now, like, I'm so excited about this because it feels so valuable. Now people get the combination of all of the education that you've had over the last 6 years and all of the other education that I've had over the last 6 years, and they get both of those perspectives, and that's so like, I'm not trying to,
Toot,
like, toot our
toot,
own horns,
toot your horn.
I'm so excited. I'm like, "You guys,
Yeah.
like, this is a lot of real-time experience and continued learning that we have to hold the container so that you guys don't have to hold it yourself. You don't have to figure everything out."
Yeah. It's that fine line because obviously we're not gonna come out here and be like super egotistical, like, "We're the best. Oh my god." There's so many options out there and you're always gonna land and resonate with who's meant for you. I truly believe that. But also we're amazing. And it's I think one thing like I have a coach and one thing we were just working on is have you ever just taken a moment to celebrate yourself and the value that you bring and the like what you have created and how many lives you've changed? We don't really, Shan, you and I, like, we don't really ever stop and take a, clients will share their wins and it's always emotional and so rewarding for us. But then it's just like right back to the next thing. We're always moving forward. Who else can we support?
Yeah.
But I'm learning to really take stock and see the value that we provide. And we've done so many other coaching programs and containers, and we keep coming back to like ours is very, very exceptional. The structure, the flow, the setup, like getting you in and focused on what you need at the right time, like curated at the perfect pace. That's the difference. It's
Mhm.
not trying to sift through things and just a standalone course. We've laid it out in this perfect process that we've repeated over and over, and we continue to fine tune because we've had the experience and benefit of working with thousands of people, not just women, by the way. We also work with men.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
like, having that experience and expertise and our passion for making this the best thing possible, plus the live coaching and continued support and one-on-one feedback, like, there's just nothing like it, and we get to be proud and share how valuable that is. So
Yeah.
that's something that's something I'm working on for 2026.
Well, let's do that in real time and just share how amazing it is that however many women signed up for Awaken Your Foundations.
Wild.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna get maybe 5, and we have well, I haven't checked recently, but we have 90 women joined, and this is, like, very much, it's a new offer, and it's entry level, and it's gonna be functioning really as, like, a stepping stone to Awaken Your Nutrition, which is, like, our baby who's now a teenager or something. Our original, offer, 12 weeks, high touch, best it truly is it's it's so special to me. Really, it's so cool to be like, it's its own thing that is changing lives. I look at it and I'm like, I'm so proud of you, Awaken Your Nutrition.
Totally. I know it's interesting to go back through it too, because sometimes I'll go in and I'll edit things or I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna add this and I like want to tweak that and
Yes.
pull it in a little bit. And it's so cool to think that it's been refined so many times as we learn how people flow through. Also, like as the world changes and how we learn changes and the different platforms and accessibility that we have. I think the thing that you and I do really well that we likely in some way learned from nutrition and the habit change there is to create a container of structure and to allow flexibility for refinement
Yes.
like all the time. And I think that's another one of the things that becomes so very cool is that when we build that in the area of the life that was around food, then we can take that same energy and process and then apply it to anything else in our life. Like
Yes.
anything else. You create the structure, which is like the masculine, and then you allow the feminine creative flow to be flexible and to inform everything else, you know?
Yes.
So beautiful. That's definitely my jungle vibe coming out.
I love it, and it's so helpful. I was just talking to my client who before there was no structure with food really because she was coming out of a hyper structured way of eating like an AIP diet or elimination diet and then went off the deep end with that, and you can't really eat that many types of foods. It's very restrictive. So I find that for some women they kind of swing the other way of just like, oh my God, I'm just gonna eat whatever. So again, we're kind of finding that middle ground now. Okay, we're not doing that crazy extreme, but also like eating whatever, even if it's organic and whole foods, like that also doesn't really feel good.
Yeah.
Like you have no energy, you're not really eating very much. You're relying on supplements and you're holding on to a lot of extra weight. Like that doesn't feel good either. Like that's also hard. So just in the first few weeks, she like it's so cool to watch clients reach this tipping point and it's almost like a level of unlocked energy. And she
Mhm.
just made like a couple small changes in bringing more structure, but not in an obsessive way, but to the whole family of
Mhm.
here's the meal plan for the week. And now her kids and her husband are just stoked. They're like, we know it's Taco Tuesday or whatever.
Aw.
And it's helping her have more structure. But of
Yeah.
course, there's flexibility. There's always going to be changes. And to be able to embrace that over time and adjust on the fly. But now it's to your point, she's literally freaking love her. You know who you are if you're listening. She's taking that and applying it, that structure with the flexibility to every area of her life. She wrote out this little manual of she's doing that with her finances and her business. And it's this unlocked level of energy. And I'm like, girl, it's because we started with food. Now your blood sugar's balanced. Now you're fueled. You have energy to live your best life, as cheesy as it sounds, but it's true.
No, it is true. Like, if we don't have, like, I remember, I don't know, my grandmother saying this, like, if we don't have our health, we don't have anything. It's like, why? Why?
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And I just think about if you're going to spend your money on anything, if you're going to spend your money on anything, like, this is the only thing that really matters. Yes, we need shelter. Yes. And our physical body is our shelter for our consciousness. So, we need the hierarchy of needs met. Absolutely. And I think one of the things that I was really sharing with someone recently when they think about what we do as a program, I was like, no, this is an investment in your health for the rest of your life. Like the way that my body has changed since I started implementing nutrition science and then continue to allow flexibility and tweaking and exploration and curiosity and learning more and just taking the initial framework and then putting it on repeat and process. which was like 12 years now, I am so deeply grateful for the way that my body has responded and how I'm 40, almost 43.
Yes.
Almost 43. I was like, "What is it? Are we there yet?" And I feel like sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, "But I don't feel like I look like that."
No, you do not.
Like, I don't feel like you do either. And then the other day, my mom and I, and I'll stop the rant in a second, but the other day, my mom and I, when I was visiting her, we were getting something in Home Depot and we walked up to a guy to ask him to help us make keys. And he just decided to share with us what was happening. And he just had like a surgery of his, I want to say his pancreas. I can't remember. And we were just like, oh, I'm so sorry. And you're at work today? Like it was like yesterday that and he said that he was like 50 something. He looked 70.
Yeah.
And I looked at my mom, who's 80, and I looked at them next to each other and I was like, "Okay, this is wild." And it's not the same thing as, like, the old guy in Italy who's smoking the cigarette with his friend, like, that guy to me feels healthy. Like, maybe without the cigarette, like, it's fine, but that guy from a vibrancy perspective and, like, a working, like, get up in the morning, you're in the sun, you're being with the nature that's informing you. Like, you're
Yeah.
working with your body, like, you're listening, you're taking naps, and, like, I don't not that I can't take naps. I digress. The ability for us to actually realize that this is the thing that is allowing us to live our best life.
Yeah.
And if we're not investing in that, then what are we doing?
Oh, yeah.
Like what you're gonna buy the shoes, you're gonna buy like a nice like Fendi bag, you're gonna go get like whatever filler or Botox or like whatever you're gonna be doing. I know that's not the equation for everyone, but sometimes we will unconsciously move to that without really doing all the other stuff. Okay, that's
Yes, and, like, when you really I find, like, when we're not really aware, it's such a life-changing process to just, at any point in your life, take stock of what you're eating, just like you would take stock of your bank account and finances, and how much are you spending versus how much are you bringing in? Like, just going through that awareness process, like, I just remember being such a more unconscious person and kinda living, like, in I don't know, just kinda going through the rat race or just, like, on the hamster wheel, just being a little bit more unconscious, but
Mm,
the whole process of just looking at what I was eating for 12 weeks, life changing because
mhm.
it's awareness practice every day. And
Yeah.
so that allowed me to realize that like it brought more awareness into other areas of life. And so just like
Mhm.
something that we discuss often with people when they're some people are like, I want to do it so bad. I want to do your program so bad, but like I can't afford it. And I'm like, how much do you spend? Tell me how much you spend on groceries, supplements, and DoorDash every week. And we calculated together this one client who ended up joining, she was spending like, if she just didn't DoorDash for a month, she could
Ah,
pay for the program.
wow.
And I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, it's
Wow.
we're so just like
Yeah.
going through the motions. Like, this is what a good coach is going to help you do. We help you solve problems. We help you get through blocks and
Mm,
get to where you want to go. And so,
mhm.
just that alone, and this is what we do on our free application calls, we help you move through a block. I'm like, finances, we need to figure out how to get this paid for you. Great.
Mhm.
We're great at problem solving this. Let me tell
Yeah.
you all the ways that we can make this work. So it's just another thing to take a look at in terms of where money is energy and creates value. And it's so like, where are we spending? It's really speaking like what we consider valuable. So
Yeah.
kind of taking stock at where that money's going and
Yes.
could we carve out some of it to put towards this very important thing, which is what we eat?
Totally. Yeah. Oh gosh, this conversation's getting much longer than I thought it was going
I know.
to.
I
One
know. We were
uh,
like, we
yeah,
need the timer in the background that's like,
I
wrap it
know.
up.
Oh, I had my eye on it. I wanted to share one more thing, and it's like looping back to what we were talking about before when people are like opting for the supplements and the things like I am very guilty of that. I wanted to say like I don't have any judgment about buying the bag, buying the shoes, like, but if or getting the Botox or whatever it is, but if the ultimate driver is to look and feel better in our own skin, it's one thing for self-expression. But if our goal with purchasing the supplements or the skincare or the clothing or the aesthetic, whatever, if the driver is to look and feel better and we aren't addressing the nutrition and all of the lifestyle factors that are providing that cascade of hormones that you so eloquently described and the blood sugar balance, then we're not actually going to be able to sustain the hair, skin, nail quality, the muscle tonality. I had this conversation with another gal about joining our program, and she was saying that she had just never been toned. But she had been fasting in the morning until like 1 for the last 2 years. And then she's doing F45 in the morning,
God.
5 days a week.
Okay. There's your
And
problem right there.
I know, and the gift that we get to give is that to me, it's a simple equation. I was
Yes.
like, that equation is actually perfect for the result that your body's giving you.
Yeah, like your body's responding appropriately. Yeah.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if we can just understand that, why is my body responding this way? Let me look at what I'm doing and how it's not changing. People who do berries for 3 years and then their body's still the same.
Yes.
I'm like, "Okay, are you gonna spend money on something that never actually moves the needle for you?"
Right.
Like, or are you man, sometimes people go to berries because they love the environment, and that's great, you know? And you can do berries and a hybrid of some other things,
Yes.
strength training, for example, inside of our program, and then, also start looking at the nutrition that's gonna allow you to build muscle, lose body fat, regulate blood sugar, all of those things. So I just wanted to kind of bring that in together as a little wrap up.
I love it.
Yeah.
So good.
So good.
Well, what do people need to know if you're watching this in the next few weeks? We are filming this on Saturday, January 24th, storm watch weekend. I think the entire country is like experiencing cold weather. So our next cohort for Awaken Your Nutrition, which is our baby transformed into teenager 12-week program. We are closing enrollment by February 28th.
Mhm.
Anything else they need to know?
No, just get excited.
Yeah.
Get excited, you guys. We're excited. I
Yes.
mean, obviously, I was kind of almost like getting out of my seat. Very excited to co-run this and then very excited to move back into cohorts. Like, it's such a lovely thing to watch this ecosystem of individuals just move through the cycle together. Like, it's
Yeah.
a really, really beautiful experience. And you build also relationships that will last a lifetime because you guys are going through a transformation together.
Yeah.
And that's so cool. Yeah, I'm just excited. I think that's it.
Amazing. The links will be wherever the links are.
Yes, and if you guys have been following us for a while, I would say just pull the lever and click purchase, and you're gonna get all the information you need. I really do trust that if you guys have been sitting at home going, "I wish I could do the green door," figure out a way to make it happen. Like,
Yeah.
truly. Like, your life will organize itself once you say yes
Yes.
to this. So once you place your attention on it, once your belief is, I can do this, I can make this happen, this is important for me, I'm prioritizing myself, everything else will organize. Like, I promise. And you can always talk to us about how we can support you in understanding how to make that possible and strategies and things like that. And if for whatever reason you have really specific questions where you want to understand, I have this going on, is this going to be okay? Then you want to book an application call. Right. So if you've been following us for so long and you're like, okay, I'm not sure, this is an excellent time to join because Lisa and I don't normally do co-hosting for the programs. So I would say if you've been on the fence, this is the year of the fire horse, get your booty onto that horse and
Yes.
ride with us.
That's right.
Yeah,
Giving out
exactly.
the signal.
That's right. Yeah, and so links will be below for you guys to take action as needed. At least this is great. So
Yeah.
great.
So fun. I'm
Yeah.
stoked. Let's
Me
do it.
Me too. Let's go. And thank everyone for watching and for your time. We know that everyone's time gets very pulled in all directions. So we really appreciate that you chose to be with us for this period.
See you next time.
See you next time.